You as a former governor, when you hear, it does look like a democratic drums of war in the sense that when the people are agitated, those who are the critical mass are saying they are hungry and they are going to march the street. In your own mind, what does this bring up? Is this the ineptitude of government, incapacity of the government, or what exactly do you think this could bring up?
Well, so thank you once again. And let me tell you again that I speak for myself. I speak for those who believe in my judgment and my opinion. And I stand here to say that before now, I have spoken for Nigerians. I have taken very hard positions that even cost me a lot in my life. But by God's grace, at over 60, we are statesmen. We will not look away and allow this country to go down. Already we're in critical situation, very critical. And let me give you an illustration. This illustration will help us very well. When an aircraft is to land, and at some point there's an emergency, there are certain levels that the aircraft wouldn't have gone for the aircraft to fly back, to climb back. Otherwise the aircraft will crash. I pray Nigeria will not crash. With government and the protesters, let us exercise a lot of restraint. Nobody, well, I won't say nobody. At my time as governor of Ekiti, I was one of the vocal people that was able to put government in check. But there was no time I called out people to go and do the things that can bring the country down. One, we need to be very careful. We are in a critical stage of our life. One, it is unfortunate that things are not easy the way they are now. The economy is not the way it should be. And the situation with the ordinary man too is not easy. But let us ask ourselves, is this all about the government? No. In many places, a lot of people will take one way. Is that the government? A lot of people will go and form their own kidnapping. Is that government? When there is rain, people will take things that they've gathered for the pain. They go and pour it inside the water, inside the rain. Is that government? We are all guilty. We should go back to the drawing board and readdress ourselves as a nation. Hunger didn't start one day. This hunger started long time. That was why they had a rally at the time. They said Jonathan must go. Jonathan left. That hunger did not stop him. Buhari came. I spoke to power. Spoke to power. Buhari spent 8 years. Nobody said one thing. I didn't remember any rally. I didn't remember during Buhari's regime. Buhari did all he had to do. When I left office, the dollar was less than 300. And when you look at the ratio when Buhari was leaving, it has gone up. Nobody held Buhari to ransom until the day he left. Nobody. The simple reason is this: a gentleman and a man who does not talk. When you go out, look at what they went to do at Lekki. I want to appeal to all of us. Let us be very, very careful.
So, I mean, apologies, Governor Fayose, to Tobodin. There are those who believe that in the last 1 year, our nation is not on the right trajectory. The APC will defend the government of the day to say they are taking tough decisions. In fact, the president, Bola Tinubu, earlier on, in some of the earlier speeches that he made, he had warned that he's going to take some very tough decisions. These policies will be sometimes painful, like the pains of childbirth. A lot of people will remember those statements. But there are those who say, look, this pain is getting too much. You look at the price of commodities, they are really high. These are the things that pertain to the average person. The price of gari, the price of agbado, the price of momo, the price of tomato in the market. These are the things that pertain to the average and the poor of our nation. And you are saying they should be calm. How calm could they be? How else could they express themselves when they say they're going to the streets to demand good governance in their country, Governor Fayose?
So I'm not saying people should not go and protest. Protest is legitimate. But just before I go to this issue of protest, there is no man. I said it again, I speak for myself. I'm not a member of their party. I will never be a member of APC. If I don't do politics again, I will stay in my house. Which man can turn this country around in 1 year, Seun? Let us leave the APC, PDP. Seun, Which man?
But are they doing the right thing? Agree that they may not be able to turn it around in 1 year. Yes, magic is not, governance is not magic. But the question is that if they're on the right track, wouldn't everyone know, Governor Fayose?
Seun, may I say to you, I am not going to be here to watch play for anybody. The moment your finances are so bad, it is difficult to pick them from the dustbin. Today, it is not easy to return Nigeria to the original or turn around the situation so easily, Seun. And I mean what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if we protest. It's good to protest. When you protest, you come back to see find the situation the same. That was what I was going to talk about. A Jonathan is not good, a Buhari is not good, and Asiwaju is not good. Then there's a fundamental problem we all have to address. This is beyond an Asiwaju or a Tinubu to come and do miracle. Jonathan was said to be the worst leader Nigeria ever had. Buhari was then the worst of the worst. Then an Asiwaju is the worst. I mean, then we have to invite God from heaven to come and turn around things. So I have been on the saddle for 8 years. When the labor leaders in Ekiti, when they were asking me, when it was impossible, they went on strike. I explained. When I couldn't explain, I joined them in the strike. I had to join them. Every allocation that comes, I give it to them. Go and appropriate. People can go to the street, but don't let those that will hijack this protest turn it to where people will now imagine you want to take government from Asiwaju. The perception now is there that is a coup.
Really? Is that what is going on?
That is the perception everywhere. That now they are giving an impression that they want to use this coup for military to come in. If you are not hearing things, we're on the ground. We're ears to the ground. And there's no government that will allow them to come and talk into his own government. It is good that Asiwaju himself had admitted that protest is good. But the people protesting should remember the consequences if the way they are politicizing it. In Kenya is a small country. There's no Muslim, Christian dichotomy there. There's no North-South dichotomy. If people are copying Kenya, they must be careful. Then a lot of people having business, we call it watch out, before they start looting. It happened in South Africa before. The consequences of a celebrated issues like this may end up in people beginning to imagine that there's a coup, or they want to play a coup. And there's no leader that will allow himself, his leadership to be taken by force.
I mean, if there are coup mongers in our country today, one will think that there's an archaic, that's a very bizarre...
You cannot tell the wicked man how he's going to go about it.
We are too civilized in this country of today, the modern Nigeria, for any military man to think that the right thing to do is to torpedo a government after 20-something years of us returning to this fourth republic. I mean, what would make any right-thinking military man think that he will want to take over power? Does that make sense?
The military has not said they want to take over power, and we have not seen signs. But when people begin to take steps, begin to do things that is suggestive of a system that wants to take power from a legitimate government, Nigeria cannot go back home. I feel sad that things are not easy for us, but this is not an option. Rally, protest, fantastic. But you know people, the moment they get on the street, it will be a different story. No government will fold its arms and allow looting. No government will allow itself for people to take over the whole system of their hands.
But Governor Fayose, let me ask you, I mean, as a benefit of someone who has been in government for 8 years, perhaps we know if there are signals of performance of a government. Can you tell Nigerians if, in your own sense, you can feel, you can see any sign of performance or delivery of this government based on its promises to the Nigerian people? Can you see, can you feel, what can you, I mean, leave the fact that your friend is the FCT minister, and I know you will speak good about what he's done in the FCT. But what else do you think that this government has done for the interest of the Nigerian people that can be a solace for them to have hope?
So there's no government that will have 100%. There is a build-up before you say I am hungry. And there's a build-up before you say I am in hunger. These are issues from the past till today. Boko Haram did not start today. X-Men did not start today. People not going to the farm did not start today. There must be a line between reality and fake. If we want to be reasonable, fine. You see, APC may not have done well. PDP may not have done well. But has we Nigerians done well? That's a question. Everybody's culpable. In the instance case, over 90% of Nigerians are displaying one prank on the other. So coming to blame overnight a government, you will see that if this protest is left open-ended, the consequences will be too far-reaching for any government to contain. Because looting, a lot of boys on the street wants to loot. That's the agenda. I had somebody who was working with me in my yard saying, some people said it is time that we are going to break stores in Surulere, in so many places where they break stores, policies. Except they want to guarantee that these things, they will be careful.
But do you think if you are conversing that there must be caution on the side of the Nigerian people about going to the street to protest against the government of the day? What would you rather have them done to make their grievances known to the government, whom they are thinking that they are far less than what they think that they should have done for them?
So let me clearly say this. This protest is good for government to be called to order in whichever way. But if they tell us we are going to stay at Fajui Park in Adwekit and make our grievances known, perfect. But when you take to the streets, when you begin to rob, when you get uncontrollable, there's no government that will keep quiet. I'm very serious. You see, governors don't have people to call police, to call military, you still come back and blame that government to say you looked away. This happened.
But does this government, Fayose, look like a government that is listening? Is this government listening to the people? Is the government listening to the people?
You are a journalist. You are a journalist. I am speaking as a Nigerian and as a politician. I have nowhere to run. I am telling you, the protesters can protest. They must have a face. You can be threatening government and say, we are protesting. We don't have faith. We don't know you. I said, come. If it's truly, you believe it's your right, come. We are protesting. If you go to Ojota at Kadifawemi Park, stay there and protest. But if you let loose the area boys and the boys who are looking for opportunity to take over certain things, the consequences will be much. I keep saying it.
Well, I mean, in Europe, I asked you, Governor Fayose, does this government look like they are listening? Is this government listening to the people?
So let me answer you this way. Can you start to cook rice and it will be done in one day? Even this Dangote thing last week when I came on the phone, when I came on this your program, I told you I heard somewhere they were trying to bomb Dangote refinery. And I said that the Kaaba are planning to make sure that this Dangote business refinery does not succeed. Is that Ashiwaju, is that government? And they are collecting money at the point of looting. They are threatening the man. It was 2-3 days after everybody started speaking up. So you can't blame government alone. Majority of Nigerians, if you give them opportunity, they will build the company and make money. Ashiwaju will not go and carry gun. He will not carry gun to be police. He will not carry gun to stop people taking oil. And Nigeria is a very difficult country to govern. We all know that. If a man is to spend 4 years, give him a mid-term. Give him a mid-term. That is my view. The little they can do couldn't have been sufficient enough right now for anybody to say you must bring down that government. Because there must be a motive. There must be a motive. You must be guided.
Governor Fayose, what would you say? It's a difficult time in the country today. And there are a lot of people perhaps who don't even have hope of what to eat tonight. As your final word on the program, what would you say is the way forward? What do you think the government should do to alleviate the suffering of the many millions of Nigerians who tonight are looking for hope?
Let me say this. Maybe this will now be a better way to represent my mind. I went to one state in the north, and I don't want to mention the name of that state. I was there for 3 days. In the course of my stay, I got familiar with people in that part of the government house that I stayed. So I sat outside and we started speaking to 1 or 2 people. And the gate man told me, he said, how long have you been in government work? He said he has spent 26 years. So I said, good. What is your salary? He said, Mikina, kudi small. I said, how much? He said, it's 34,000. I said, how many children do you have? He said, he has 16. How many wives? He says 4. My brother, problem is inside, you see? Somebody is earning 35,000. What can government do with 17 children? We don't want to be realistic. Another person said he has 8 children, 3 wives, and one of his wives is still expecting. Then what has to be done with our people too. Because when you have children, you go into government. A government that is struggling to survive. It's difficult. When you're asking me, what will I say to them? What will I say to a man who has 16, 17 wives?
All right,
17 children for a wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
We must sincerely thank.
See, that is Ayo Fayose, former governor of Ekiti State. See, everything you said on this video, I'll tell you, I disagree with you. Everything you said on this. You know why? You were there. You were once there. You should know better. You don't expect Nigerians to fold hands and be, or you don't expect Nigeria to be clapping for Tinubu for what he's doing, for giving money away, for giving his family member, his friends, for satisfying his friends, and you expect Nigerians to be clapping for him. Tinubu should have been better. He just run Lagos State, not Nigeria. It's quite different. The way you manage Nigeria as a country is different from the way you manage Lagos State. That's the problem. It's quite different. Let's get this clear. And now let me tell you something. You said the problem is not government. If somebody follow one way, should we blame government? Should we blame Tinubu? If somebody disobey law, should we blame government? Is it government? Why is the person not use his own mind? You are expecting the that's what you think. Somebody should use his own mind to obey the law, to judge. Of which Nigerians you know before. It doesn't happen elsewhere in the world. Even the world where we're talking about, some countries we're talking about that have laws, rule of laws. Laws are working for them. They say disobey the law. Then when you disobey the law, you pay the consequences of you disobeying the law. You pay. The repercussion is waiting for you. The laws are in place. You go and disobey because you are too impatient. You don't understand? So everything, every problems every country is facing will always be channeled to bad leadership. The Canada we are talking about, Canadian citizens are still complaining that the government is not doing a lot. US are still complaining. UK is still complaining. Government is not doing a lot. Government is not doing this. How much more Nigeria? So you don't put law in place, or if at all there is law, you don't enforce the law. You don't take drastic actions against those laws to make it work because of corruption. You are expecting the law to work, to function. A country where we are so money minded, we believe in bribing, give me money because people's salary are too small. People cannot afford some even basic thing with their salary alone. No, it doesn't work. It's leadership. It's leadership. And now you look at the way what Tinubu is doing. You're saying never they should pretend. This one will lead to anarchy. This one will lead to coup. This is what they are planning. Who is saying that? From the beginning of this protest, who is saying that this protest is going to be violent protest, or they are going to protest violently? The job of a military, the job of security agencies is to protect the lives of the protesters, because this is a law. It's law. It's constitutional right for citizens to protest against bad leadership. So why is this one different? Why? It is also irresponsible government we have that we are referring to NSAS, because they lack that capability to manage the NSAS, because they believe in, right? Who are you to challenge the government? Who are you to talk about the government? Who are you to challenge the government? That was the problem. That was why they have to order those security whom some of them said do not have sense to go and do otherwise, because order has been given. Who are you to challenge the government? That was the reasons. If the military do not open fire, allow peaceful protest, then we protest and go. Nobody will lose life. Every countries of the world, they protest. Even how many days ago, last week, they protest in the UK, Leeds, somewhere it Leeds. Because some people feel angry over some certain issues. They protest. Did you see how many people died? So you come, now we just come, because all of them believe, now we just talk anyhow, they talk. Say, give Tinubu time. Tinubu is this, Tinubu is that. Where is he? What are those things, assurances that this government is doing well and this government is going to do well? 1 year gone, 1 year and some months now don't go, isn't it? They say, see, if there is law in this country today, if you collect money from somebody's hand, if you collect money from them for disobeying the law, without bribe, without speaking to somebody over the phone to go and release the person, say it's my brother, he's don't you know, without organ command, speak to somebody, you disobey law, then you face the law. When you pay money twice, nobody will ask you to nobody will tell you to respect the law, because there's no law. Is it not because there is law and order? That was why a former prime minister of UK, Rishi Sunak, disobeyed the law of the land. He was fined to pay £100 for not putting on seatbelt. It was fine, £100. It does not mean because he has money he should pay more, or he does not have money he should pay lesser. That is the law. Disobey this law, pay this amount of money. We don't care who you are, how much you have, because the law is working. It's for everybody. When you are saying if government fail in their responsibility, these things they should have done, they refuse to do it because they are not capable enough to enforce those laws. Why are you blaming the citizens? Yeah, everybody wants shortcut, but that's where the government comes in to say, no, I don't want this in my land. You need to do it by force, by all means, provided you are doing it for the interest of others. You cannot, because of one person, and punish millions of people. Yes, I understand. Yeah, all of them you must bring up. You don't say because somebody disobeyed the law and then all of it. That's why Tinubu is not governing this country like this. No, now who does that? Tinubu thought the way he managed Lagos State, and then in those days when we were still in a manual age, like a manual, not this time digital, it's quite different. The way you manage the country at that time, it's quite different. You come on and you come, they talk anyhow, they talk, you go here, talk, go there. There's the reasons of this. Anyways, what do you think? Please share this video. Tinubu needs to do better. You don't expect people to be clapping for Tinubu, removing subsidy from day one, floating the naira. You expect those things, all this price of everything to go up, and it took you almost over 1 year to increase minimum wage. And you know this thing have effect. Subsidy gone day one. You know it's going to have effect in your country, and it took you over 1 year to respond to them, to increase their minimum wage just 70k, and the 70k cannot buy anything for them, anything reasonable. So is this somebody who disobeyed the law of the land that asked Tinubu to remove subsidy and fruit the naira? No. Anyways, please, what do you think about this? Share, like, comment, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, please.